viewer asked, which of these will be gone first? Radio, newspapers, or your hair?
Boy, that would have been a really rude question had someone posited it to me.
Yeah, I mean...
If somebody had said that.
Hypothetically, yeah. Hypothetically, if that had been asked, that would have been really rude. Where's Steve? Where's your husband? He's at the bar.
Nice.
Okay.
Throwing, hard-boiled green eggs at some 21-year-old co-ed's wet T-shirt. Because now it's spring break.
As everyone knows, you throw the green eggs. Obviously, we're doing in-ground, but I think we have it shaped kind of like a bowl.
Yeah.
So that way, when I drain it in the winter, we can strap on the blades.
Well, and
do
then
some fruit booting in the empty pool.
That's me and you, fruit booting away
at age 44. Some life goals right there.
They're years away, Steve.
Just 6 years away from Pool Steve fruit booting in his own in-ground pool.
In a few years we'll have to track down Nikki so she can figure out the exact time that was discussed so I can play it back to you while the bulldozers are running in your backyard.
Are digging the hole.
Digging the big... bowl-shaped hole in your yard so we can half pipe in the fall, because apparently we're now going to empty the pool in its entirety, which I've never owned a pool, but I've seen pools. That doesn't happen.
No, they don't typically do that because the surrounding dirt would probably make them fall in on themselves. Like, you need the water in there to be pushing back.
Yeah, but not us.
No.
We got a fruit boot.
Yeah. Very important. Very important.
Yeah. That's right. A couple 40-year-olds rollerblading in
44. I'll be 44 at that time.
Oh man, it's coming right up.
It is Sunday, March 24th, 2019, the year of our Lord. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast. Speaking of fruit booting, over the last couple of days, I don't know why, Annette was looking for... We were just laying around one night last week, and she was like, there's nothing to watch. Couldn't figure out anything to watch. So she pulled up, I think it's a Netflix or Hulu, but, the Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer.
Sure.
She had never watched that show before. I had been familiar with the show, but I had really never watched it either. So... hit play on one of those episodes, and right away I knew that it was going to be an issue because it didn't fill out the whole screen. It was cropped, so it was SD, not HD. I was like, man, I didn't know that this show was that old. And then in one of the first scenes, it shows the couple who we have this dog, and boy, do we love him, but he sure is a problem. And then it shows the dog chewing up a shoe or something like that. So, and then the voiceover. So they called the dog whisperer Cesar Millan. Next scene, Caesar comes rollerblading up to their house.
That was his quickest way to get there?
With big baggy cargo pants on. Caesar comes rollerblading up and runs up the front lawn in his rollerblades and then takes the dog's leash and I'm going to take the dog for a walk. And then the next scene, there he is, rollerblading down the middle of the street with Fluffy in tow. Rollerblading.
What they didn't show was Milan... rollerbladed from 2 states over to get to his newest case in, central Kentucky, and he lives in Texas. So he put on the blades.
Yeah.
Brought, obviously, because Steve, as we all know, when you got rollerblades, you never know you're going to have a wheel issue. So he probably had some Allen wrenches.
Yeah, a couple extra bearings just in case.
Cesar Millan looks
the bearing remover tool, so you can punch them right out.
Yeah. Now you and I, we talked about this. You and I are the guy. We're taking the brakes off.
Yeah.
When we're fruit booting,
yeah,
we mean business.
Yeah.
But Milan seems like the kind of guy who's putting an extra brake on.
He's got brakes on both.
Right? And flashing lights, or he's got those reflective stickers on the back sides of both of his blades, just in case he's out for a dusk boot.
A dusk fruit boot.
And, doesn't want to get picked off by I don't know, a bicycle or a golf cart that happens to be ripping by.
This show, it's crazy because I looked it up. The first season of the show, which is what the episode we were watching, it was 2004, but you would have thought it was 1994 just based on the look of the clothes people were wearing. Like, everything was just... I thought that by 2004 we had gotten out of that everything is way too big phase for clothes.
Sure.
But no, like... pant legs were still 1.5 feet wide each, and bowl haircuts were still all the rage. Goatees everywhere. Everyone had a goatee in 2004.
Oh yeah, probably perfectly manicured.
Yeah,
nothing but the smoothest skin.
Yep.
Outside of their goatee template that they have then
Yeah.
used. They have the metal that they
Yep.
hook around their mouth,
and then they just
shave around it.
everything else.
Yep, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was remarkable. So if you have, like I said, it's either Netflix or Hulu, but go on there and just type in Dog Whisperer and watch the first couple episodes. It's pretty remarkable.
Man, is that show still around?
Oh, I don't think so.
Because in my mind, I never watched it. Wasn't he, legitimately just a dog trainer?
Yeah, and and if you believe everything the show says, he performs miracles.
By the way, I've never heard. It's a kind of official now. You're officially, well, Annette is at least my dad's old age, where it's there's never anything on these channels.
Yeah.
There's nothing to watch. Now we're in a time in TV and movies where there's honestly
it's the golden age.
There's never been more to consume than right now. And even without traditional cable, you guys still have all of the streaming options that most everybody has. You have your Hulus, your Amazons, your Netflixes, whatever else.
But have you ever been sitting around? Yeah, there are plenty of things to watch. Like we watched season 3 of True Detective within the last week and a half.
The HBO Go.
Fantastic. Yep. So good.
Back on track? I have not watched it.
But yeah, so that's kind of been what we've been doing over the last 6 months. We watched Sopranos. We watched Parks and Rec. We watched The Office. Like, we've been going back and watching a lot of stuff that we really liked, or in some cases, like
Pacific Blue.
Pac Blue, of course. The Lopez years, obviously, only.
Lopez only. I'm not there to watch, those. Well, first of all, their portrayal in the first episode of hijinks-inducing rollerbladers is not in tune with my view on rollerblading community.
Apparently, this is a rollerblade-themed episode of the Steve and Kyle podcast.
But you've been going back and revisiting.
Yeah, we've been going back
shows.
and watching stuff that, these great, like, serial-type shows. And there are a few that I think we still want to watch, but we were both like, I don't want to watch anything that I have to, like, I got to sit there and think about, and I'm going to be like, okay, who's this character? Okay, now what are they going to do? I just want to hit play on something and just kind of half watch if I want, but also not. And bring on Cesar Millan and the Dog Whisperer, which, by the way, was on until recently. It's only been off the air since 2016.
Well, because now...
The show had a hell of a run.
Now, if you want to get an animal show on TV, you have to be wacky. You can't just be doing, hey, I'm fixing your dog who chews things. No, the ones that are on now, I think it's on National Geographic, like the Incredible Dr. Pole, who's in the middle of Michigan, and he just takes his little pickup if he needs to and helps sheep, cows, pigs, but he'll have, hamsters, rats, whatever, into the office, regular dogs. And then there's another one about a ER, like an animal ER, an exotic animal ER. So it's like, oh, hey, my 3-legged parakeet is coughing. Can you fix it? And they're like, oh yeah, that's that's this disease.
No
we just
problem.
gotta, So poor Cesar, his mistake was by not trying to up his game by like training jaguars.
Yeah. I mean, come on, dogs, Caesar, anybody can do that.
Seriously. I mean, I went to we took our dogs to a dog trainer. You did as well. You didn't need a TV show.
That being said, we used a couple of the techniques that Caesar was using while walking the dog. Used it on Toby yesterday.
Yeah.
I'll be damned if it didn't work
Really?
perfectly. Like, he became this perfect little gentleman on the walk. It was incredible.
It's like the 5 years of beating into his, or of being on television, actually had some merit.
Yeah. I mean, it worked. Now, we'll see if it keeps up, if it wasn't just like a fluke. But, man, yeah, it worked great. Annette came back from a walk yesterday, nearly with tears in her eyes. I was like, what's going on? She's like, our lives are changed. What happened? I'm thinking like something bad happened. Like Toby got hit by a bus.
Yeah, because I highly doubt, she found Jesus on the walk.
Oh, no, but she said he was just perfect. Everything went great because he's a relatively good dog, but he's still a puppy, so he's
Rambunctious.
Yeah, exactly. Any other animal he sees or any other people he sees, like, oh, I got to go see them.
My new best friend. I gotta go say hi.
I got to be more excited than anyone has ever been ever.
Sure.
And but he was really good. She just did this technique with the holding the leash a certain way and making sure he didn't get in front of her to show that she was the dominant one and he was he's the pack. She's the leader.
Yep.
Yeah, it worked out great.
Man.
So, Cesar Millan from 2004, thank you very much. Seems as though what you did, again, does merit the 10 or 11 seasons that you were on the air.
He seems like a guy. I mean, does he just fade away now? You think Cesar Millan is just going to be done, or is he going to write, a dog book every 2 years?
Cesar
because
Millan doing now?
Because I have a feeling that he is now missing the limelight a bit, if you will. I don't get the impression he's going back to hosting group dog training courses.
No,
at
probably
his
not.
Local building.
Does he go on like a nationwide tour, like a PetSmart tour or something?
He seems like the kind of guy who, for no reason or no explained reason, he'll be on the next season of The Masked Singer.
Oh, he's got a new show. Oh, never mind. That goes to a dead link.
Boy, that new one didn't last long.
It's called Caesar's Way.
11 years of that, how much more could you possibly need to tell people about dog training?
I don't know. What is Cesar Millan's... Okay.
Oh,
what is Cesar Millan's net worth?
Boy, this is our favorite game to play, which is guess the net worth. Yeah. And this is why we need an intern, so we can both be in on it without knowing the answer, 11 years, you said, of a TV show?
I think so. Well, it was, 2004 to 2016, but it said 9 seasons, so there may have been...
Oh, wow. So he did the old Game of Thrones method?
Yeah, maybe.
He was really polishing the art.
Took a couple years off.
I'll say $8 million. That's
I would have said between 5 and 6.
Okay.
$25 million.
He's a dog trainer, Steve.
Cesar Millan net worth. Cesar Millan is a Mexican-American dog trainer, author, and TV personality who has a net worth of $25 million. That is from CelebrityNetWorth.com. Take that for what it is. But that's kind of the standard where we always go to.
Well, yeah, and it's still going to be closer than what you and I had thought anyway. Even if it's cut in half, he's still at almost 2 times more what you thought. So
let's see. Dog Whisperer premiered in 2004. In 2009, he developed his magazine, Caesar's Way, which focused on dog training and developing a healthy relationship between pet and pet owner. After his show's end in 2012, he developed a documentary series called Leader of the Pack.
Sure.
A new series, Caesar 911.
Oh, so it's like, this dog is going to murder my family. Let's call it the Dog 911.
Yeah.
And Caesar fruit boots up to your front doorsteps.
You think he's still booting around?
There's no question Cesar Millan is still blading. Do you think, maybe if he's going to a more formal appointment, he busts out his Heelys?
Yeah, that would be much more 2019.
Yeah, just walk on my toes so I don't roll down the floor here in my Heelys.
So Cesar Millan, $25 million. Good for him.
How are we always... we shouldn't be amazed by any of this by now.
No.
What we need to do, and I thought about this a lot, Steve, to slightly transition about how we can makes just copious amounts of cash from doing something really dumb. And I've talked about this in the past. We need to fully transition this podcast because apparently we're the last ones not discussing murder every week.
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of crime. Well, I mean, I think that the obvious transition would be to full-time history of the mystery.
Right, right. And just think, at the rate we talk about, we could knock 60 to 80 of those out a week.
We'd probably run out, though, so we'd have to maybe shorter episodes.
Steve, the world is full of mystery, and all we need to do is provide the history.
It's true. We don't have to solve it. We just have to maybe say if it was solved at some point or if it remains unsolved. Yeah, I think we can do it. Maybe we'll do a couple. We'll do a test episode or two.
Yeah, we do History of the Mystery. We pawn it off to those two hens who cluck away in their New York loft, reading it off Wikipedia, and let them figure out how to solve it.
All right.
I've talked about it. That's my that's my least favorite podcast I've ever listened to.
Which one?
My Favorite Murder.
Okay.
It is atrocious. And I'll fight with any of you on social media about it. If you listen to My Favorite Murder and you want to defend it, let's have a chat. I hate it. It's the worst. I tried to listen, Steve. I tried. And it was the middle of the second or third episode. And to say nothing for our quality as podcasters, at no given point are we sitting here. Oh God, hang out me. And they're reading printed Wikipedia entries about murder.
Now, granted, you will hear.
Oh,
but I mean that's when we're opening up delicious candy.
Listen, when I got a box of Chuck E. C's,
Chuck E. C. Juniors,
and you expect me to not eat them on the air, you got another thing coming.
Yeah, we have tangent. We have completely come around.
Yeah.
To the majesty that is the Charleston Chew, which has now been renamed the Chuck E. C. Jr.
We were so excited to rip into the Chuck E. C. Jr. box that we missed the easy pour slot.
Oh.
And we just tore open the side like a couple of animals.
What a bunch of amateurs.
But, yeah, no, I think we do History of the Mystery. We pawn it off to our other sister cast, which will then be called, Solving the Mystery or something much less clever than History of the Mystery.
Right.
And we leave the heavy lifting to somebody who wants to join the Lispin Network.
Yeah. You saying that you didn't like My Favorite Murder, which is, again, very popular podcast.
Massively.
There's one... There's another popular one that I don't like.
Ooh.
And it was, did you listen to the podcast or watch the adaptation of Dirty John?
No, I've heard of it. I heard it. Now, the adaptation was on Netflix?
I think so.
Yeah, I remember seeing that based on a podcast.
With everybody's favorite coach's wife, Tammy Taylor, Raina James. What else?
Connie Britton.
Connie Britton. Yeah, I forget who else she played.
She was in a season of 24 with Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah,
where
she's fantastic.
She's the best.
Absolutely love her. But that podcast was based on a very successful businesswoman. Met this guy. He ended up. Spoiler alert. He ended up being a bit of a scam artist.
Oh,
and it ended in such a crazy way that somebody from one of the local newspapers, it was somewhere, I think it was somebody in Los Angeles, reached out to her and said, holy crap, this is crazy. I want to write about this. And so he wrote about it. They eventually did a podcast about it, which eventually was adapted into a 10 episode series. And this was
what a world.
The podcast was, breaking records. Everybody was listening to it. It was great. Now, I had never listened to the podcast. Annette did. She said it was great. So she starts watching the TV episodes of it.
Sure. Miss Tammy Taylor?
I did not like it.
Oh.
To say that, I won't say I hated it, but
sure.
Man, it just seemed poorly done. It was hokey, it wasn't believable, and it was a true story. So it should have been easily believable since it actually happened, but
Wow.
yeah, garbage. Pure garbage.
Is that going to be the new way? Because, you'll hear a lot, well, almost everybody, and I hate these kind of people because we all understand, but it's always the same thing after they go see the movie, and, well, the book was better.
Yeah.
Listen, we know it's a 2-hour movie. It's a 600-page book. A 2-hour movie doesn't have 35 minutes to expound on, the color of the ocean waves as they cracked against the shore.
Well, what I don't like is when, because there were a few times where Annette said, like, oh, yeah, that's not how it was in the podcast. I'm like, but the podcast was the truth.
Yeah.
I hate when they take those liberties with it to make it a better show. I get why they do it. But I'm more interested in how it actually happened. Like, wait, you mean they didn't, like, all make up at the end and move off to Bermuda where they lived happily ever after? Like, no, everyone was dead.
Yeah.
Oh.
Good.
Okay,
Good.
that's a bit different.
It's a left turn at Albuquerque if I've ever seen one.
Little bit of a change.
But is that where we're at now, where instead of, the book was better, the podcast was better?
I think so.
Because podcasts are very mainstream now, Steve.
Sure.
You've got, HBO had a documentary. Now, granted, theirs is probably 3 years too late, titled "The Case Against Adnan" from the first season of Serial.
Yeah. I didn't listen to Serial.
See, Serial season 1. See, now I think you would look back and think, that's fine. But back then, they were legitimately one of the first people to do it that way, that well. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I bring up you and I transitioning this to just a straight murder podcast where I don't care, we'll pick one from, it doesn't matter, there's murders happening all over the place, and we'll pick one and talk about it for an hour and move on, is because there's a headline last week. Monster. Are you familiar with Monster, the podcast?
I've heard of it. Have not listened.
Apparently, season 2 is titled "Monster: The Zodiac Killer," and they got 12 million downloads in 2 months.
Okay. All right. So first of all, we need a snappy name.
Steve and Kyle talking murder.
I don't know.
Not
really.
SKTM.
Oh, I got one.
Oh,
because we're always talking about like murders, more and more murders.
Yeah.
Mortar.
And we'll put both of those into the file.
Come on. That's good.
I'm giving it the same treatment I'm giving my own.
That's almost as good as Sports Tate. Again, that's 1-800-SPORTS and then the number 8.
So with mortar, and we have to make sure we pronounce it correctly because we do not want to cross-influence the Lord of the Rings fans by saying Mordor.
Sure.
So it's
we don't want people to think that it's a podcast about like bricklaying, where we're constantly talking about like the different types of mortar that you put in between the bricks.
And we also don't want people to think it's about artillery fire.
That's true. Although that's a good way to get everybody involved. It's a little bait and switch.
So our new idea is to now fool cross-sections of niche fans into thinking we're talking about their favorite item.
Yeah, bricklayers,
Lord of the Rings fans.
Lord of the Rings fans, and Army
fans
artillery.
Of artillery?
Yep.
Finally! I've been waiting for this podcast.
Some common ground.
About artillery shells and mortar fire.
Uh-huh.
Boy, one step closer to, my serialized podcast about RPGs.
Yeah. Man, we are just full of ideas.
Well, how do we spell it? Is it MORE-DER? MORDER?
I think MORE is all in caps, then dash, then DER.
Okay. Lowercase, you think?
Yeah.
Like maybe like a blood spatter behind it.
Yeah.
Make it
Philip,
get on it.
Zach.
Yeah, make us a mortar. Your new favorite podcast.
Yeah,
logo.
there's got to be a magnifying glass, maybe some bloody footprints.
Yeah,
and like a dead body.
Now we can talk numbers off air, Steve. But what financial figure will we need to make work for you and I to just completely launch the Lispin Network with Jeep Chat? I'll do Sports Tate and WrestleCast. We'll do History of the Mystery.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Some of them will be our own spin-off side projects, but other ones will reconvene.
We'll both record Mortar on a weekly basis. I know there's more.
It's Mortar.
And then, the audio intro, it's going to be that with the voice guy. That's because we have the budget. And then, the sound that you hear in movies of when a knife is removed from its sheath. Yeah. And then we go. And then we're talking about Mortar. But maybe we
wait, now, are we still bringing back, like, Ray Connections?
That's another. Ray Connections still has to happen.
Yeah, that's for those who haven't been on board as long as long as we've been doing this. That was our show idea for anyone that needed to be, like, anybody who's been separated from a friend or a relative, and you want to be reunited, but the one catch is their name has to be Ray.
For a lot of reasons. One, because that's one of your best, your best impression is your James Earl Jones saying the name Ray. And two, you had a massive falling out
with a good friend. I would argue one of my best friends in the world from college,
named Ray.
So, and he came up on the podcast one time, and then we went down the rabbit hole of I wonder what he's up to.
Yeah.
And
you look him up on Facebook?
He is not. He is completely not on social media.
Oh, good. Wow.
I had said that I still remember his cell phone number, but I know that at some point, because he moved to where the hell did he move to? God, where was it? I forget. He moved somewhere overseas for like a year.
Okay.
To do like some kind of teaching program.
Sure.
So he gave his phone and his number, just gave it to his brother Ed, who we referred to as Sex Ed. And so I want to send Sex Ed a text.
Yeah.
To get Ray's number, but I also don't want to.
Well, that'd be the highest rated episode. Well, so I think, like you said, if you had a falling out with somebody named Ray, we want to reconnect you in our mini series.
Ray Connections.
And the logo was made beautifully by one of our listeners. I want to say it was Betsy made that for us.
Yeah, it looked like the Love Connection logo, but it just said Ray instead of love.
So what, I mean, financial figure wise, do we need to make happen? So you and I fully launch the Lispin Network. We bring your real estate buddy in just so we have some sense of, credibility that there's some legitimate podcast. You and I pump out 60 to 80 History of the Mysteries in an hour and a half because they're 90 seconds long. We live here. We live in the studio.
Right.
We become podcast rats, or we're just down in the dungeon casting all day, podding.
I would say it would have to be, high three figures.
Whew. Wow.
For me to fully invest.
Yeah, no, that seems like a reasonable jump from where we are now financially to what would be possible financially.
Yeah. I think we discussed this heavily off the air.
Speaking of you leaving the side gig, wanted to put a thanks out. Was that Brad? Who at the side shows?
Yes,
the side gigs, the side gigs live show on Friday.
Yeah,
brought a memorial to me.
It was beautiful. It was so well put together.
That fills me with joy.
Yeah,
and he sent us a picture of that, saying, "Rest in peace, Kyle. Never invited to come to Steve's side show or side gig again." Thank you very much. Yeah. We are getting close, I believe. That is step one to me fully infiltrating your side gigs live shows with a fat head of me. Now, here's what I want to happen. I want this fat head, Steve, to become like the sisterhood of the traveling pants. So somehow it makes its appearance at one show.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys don't think about it for a month or two. And somehow you're in Kokomo, Indiana, and then in the back of the room, middle of segment 7, somebody holds up on a piece on like just popsicle sticks glued together, 3-foot tall picture of my face.
Well, I think that this is very possible that it could happen because loyal podcast listener Timmy
Yes.
is also very loyal to the side gig. Goes to any of the radio shows like in the tri-state area. He was in Decatur last week. I know that he will be in Grand Rapids. He's going to be at the one in the Battle Creek, Kalamazoo area. He's going to be at the one in the Flint area next week. No, he won't be at the one next week. That's in Pennsylvania. But he's at a lot of these shows. So I bet that you could convince him to make a
Fathead.
Maybe we put up a custom T-shirt in the store.
Sure.
That is just your face.
Whew. Boy, that is... I thought we've seen our lowest seller. I think we're broaching a new territory there.
I mean, look at that. That would make a perfect shirt.
That would. Now, I mean, you have to keep the silver background that is so synonymous with this show.
Right, yeah. We don't want to confuse people by taking that out.
And then maybe just our logo, our name right below it. Mm-hmm. Maybe should we have a sell-off and do like one of your face, one of mine?
Oh yeah, and see
who sells the most.
See who wins 3-2.
It's a race to one, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get those up there for anybody who wants to wear our faces to the side gig.
But by the way, Timmy also had his green Stevie Tortellini shirt on.
Hey.
I was very happy to be well represented there.
A good selling piece of merchandise up there, designed by Philip, that he has done so kindly for us.
I need to order one of them.
I need to order one of our own shirts, too.
I need to order one of them and then wear it to work and see if anybody recognizes it. Because I don't think that they will.
No, they have no idea. Now, are we doing the bit where we're going to wear our own merch to our billboard in 2 weeks?
Oh, boy, I don't know. I don't think we can do that.
It's less than 2 weeks away, Steve. Our billboard visit. Now, details are coming into focus. I have updated the Facebook page. If you check our social media, the event will be shared on Twitter and on Facebook. For the Facebook link for it, that will have the exact location of the billboard if you are planning on coming and seeing the billboard and joining us for a drink or two and very possibly a live version of this podcast, the first of its kind. So be sure to check that out. Again, that's on Twitter at Steve and Kyle, Facebook.com/Steve and Kyle. The official site of the billboard is posted, so you'll know where to drive. Now, this isn't that big of an area. It's Van Wert. Find a parking lot. Steve and I will be standing there admiring our faces.
And just, if you can't find the billboard, just ask people, where's the billboard? Because I guarantee it's going to be the talking point of the town.
Now that got a big bump on the on the side gig, your other job this week, Steve. So I'm expecting there's going to be a handful of people that are going to be joining us there at the billboard.
It was very strange to be talking Steve and Kyle business over the radio airwaves.
Right. Well, it's only taken 140 episodes to get a proper mention.
I know.
On your side gig, not one in passing.
There weren't that many insults.
Right.
And right at the beginning of the segment, Freebeer said, how did this whole supposed feud between your podcast and this radio show start? I said, well, I'm pretty sure I said, hey, I'm doing a podcast with Kyle. And then you said, ugh, gross, ugh, barf, snooze. Gross, disgusting.
Yeah.
So that I feel as though that's how it started. Like, I think that they hurled the first stone.
Yeah. Well, and I think it was peaked when someone said to put your podcast on a car ride for a live show in Illinois, I want to say.
Yeah.
And they all promptly fell asleep and ignored you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one fell asleep. One just blatantly ignored it.
Yeah.
And the other one then put headphones on.
Headphones in. Absolutely. Yeah. I haven't done anything to de-escalate it, and I'm not going to now. But I'm just glad it only took 104. Maybe at the 280 episode anniversary, maybe we'll get another rub from the side gig
mention,
there. Yeah.
I guess we'll see. We'll see.
That's all we can search for. But yeah, the billboard visit is official. We have a couple of words out. I think the plan right now, because we're not going to the last place that we were going to go to.
Garbage.
We're not even
garbage food.
Yep, we're not mentioning them.
No.
They make the crappiest chicken in all of Ohio, and if you eat there, I hope you get chicken AIDS.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. Why don't you call, Cesar's cousin, the Chicken Whisperer? He'll have, he's got a show. He'll have an answer.
Yeah,
so,
right.
what our plan currently is to go visit the billboard, and again, that address is posted, so you know where to go if you're coming with us. We'll update that time. I am thinking, Steve, do we just want to plan on 12 noon?
Yeah, what is it?
Sun
like
high in the sky.
3-hour ride for us?
Yeah, a little over 3 hours for you and I, so we'll be on the road around 8:30, 8:45.
Yep.
And we'll be there. Meet at the billboard at noon if you're coming. Wear your Steve and Kyle merch. Be very greatly appreciated. We'll take a bunch of pictures. And we are going to go to a bar down the road about 10 to 15 minutes away, Steve. D's on Main Street.
D's on Main Street.
Technically, the town is Convoy, Ohio, but again, it's only 10 to 15 minutes away.
So after we leave the billboard, we'll have a little convoy.
Yes.
To D's on Main Street.
D's on Main Street, where we are awaiting details on if we're going to be allowed to do a live episode at D's on Main Street. Hopefully that can happen for an audience of 2.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the plan right now. Please RSVP on the Facebook event. Let us know if you're coming. I'm excited. I'm nervous.
Me too.
Because, and I talked about this a little bit yesterday when I was referencing this to one of my wife's work friends, and I don't like saying I podcast because we've talked about this. Well, what's it about? Well, how do you explain what we talk about? I mean, for crying out loud, we talked about rollerblading in an empty pool earlier on, and then starting a murder podcast.
You should say that basically we come up with ideas for other podcasts.
Yeah, honestly.
For about 2 hours a week.
Half of this podcast is thinking of better ideas. So I was trying to explain the billboard and the billboard visit, and how do you do that, right? And wait, so people donated to that? Yeah, and we're going, but I told him I'm afraid because here's what it is. You realize you drove a couple hours to look at a billboard, which you've seen 100 of them on the way to this destination because they're everywhere.
Yeah.
To meet 2, and I'm comfortable saying this, wholly uninteresting people to take pictures in front of this billboard.
Yeah.
And then have a drink and or lunch at a local bar in a town none of us have ever been to and will never go to again.
Okay. So we're going to get there just before 12.
Yeah.
Figure everyone shows up by 12:15. Take a couple pictures.
Sure.
We're at D's by 12:45. On the way home by 2 at the latest.
Figure you and I get a couple of shots of pond scum.
Yeah.
On the road in 45 minutes.
Technically, we should get pond scum because we didn't donate.
We didn't donate anything.
Although I think we rounded it up a couple bucks, didn't we?
Yeah.
Like $14 or something.
Yeah, something real important that has to be made, has to be mentioned because you and I kicked in, Steve, obviously. But I feel weird because people are driving. Like, are we supposed to dance? Do we? If we don't do this live podcast.
How about everybody that's going to be attending the billboard? Let us know what your expectations are of us.
Yeah.
Post it on Twitter at Steve and Kyle, Facebook.com/Steve and Kyle. # billboard expectations. Yeah. Let us know. Like, do we have to have a speech prepared?
Yeah. Because, I'd love
to. Do you want pictures with us in front of the billboard? Because I want at least one picture of you and I standing in front of the billboard doing the same pose. So if you could bring a bandana and a cigarette.
Yeah, can someone bring a cigarette? Because I don't want to buy a pack and then throw away 19 of them and the 20th that I'm not going to smoke anyway. Yeah. So I need somebody to bring a pack of cigarettes and then just give me one.
All right, so let me pull up I don't even know what our logo looks like, but I need to pull it up.
We now need a checklist because, boy, I'm going to need to bring a bandana.
I got an easy... Man, this is simple. I just have to tilt my head a little to the side and smile.
Yeah, yours is fine.
My hair is much shorter in that picture, though.
Yeah. But this is for the better cause with the longer hair. So.
Yeah, but boy, I think that I think that the Bradley Cooper hair is not long for this world.
No, you're growing tired of it.
I'm growing tired of it.
Oh, well, you have to hold on for 2 more weeks.
I know. Yeah, definitely. I would never consider cutting it before the billboard. But
people are traveling to see this hair, Steve.
Timmy yelled out during the live show, "When did you hire Bradley Cooper?" On Friday.
I mean, that's
great.
And listen, fair question.
I know.
Right? Now you put a little.
It completely confused the 3 people to the side of me. No one had any idea.
Well,
what?
all we ask out of them is 90 minutes to 2 hours a week, so they can keep caught up on your life, Steve.
Yeah.
That's all we ask. So yeah, does that not make you nervous, or are you okay just thinking, well, they're coming to see us and hang out? That makes me nervous that people are going to leave. Like, why did I just spend a morning and part of my afternoon?
No, I'm not super nervous about it because I think it's kind of the same way I felt before we did the Boston trip.
Yeah,
2 years ago, it was like, oh, if you want to show up and just follow us around,
sure,
that's cool.
Yeah, and but at least Boston is Boston. Right?
What are you saying?
I'm saying we're going to Van Wert and Convoy, Ohio.
Yeah.
And now it's a bit of a hike. We are in discussion still. It was mentioned very briefly when we first found this location. It is still being lightly discussed that we may go visit the haunted covered bridge.
Yeah, combining so many of our favorite things.
Conspiracast. We still got to do our Conspiracast.
Yeah. So you're combining
podcast.
Conspiracies, haunted stuff.
Yes.
Because obviously you love those types of movies with a bat and things that go bump in the night and a mask. Covered bridges. Did we decide on a covered bridge podcast? Or didn't somebody...
Oh, no, I couldn't be less interested in doing a covered... I would rather do a different types of lumber podcast because it's the same thing as a covered bridge podcast.
All right, easy now. Easy.
Stupid. So stupid. Whoa. So it's Ceylon. Ceylon covered bridge in Geneva, Indiana, and it may...
All right, so that would give us a third state in this trip then, because on the way there I'm assuming we're going Michigan straight to Ohio. We're not going Michigan down to Indiana and then over to Ohio.
You thinking tour shirts?
Oh boy.
I think the tour shirt has to happen now.
Okay. I think we could do that.
If this is going to these need to be posted immediately so people can buy them.
Yeah. Boy, they would be.
But the townofgeneva.org actually references that it's on most haunted lists regarding Indiana. Mm-hmm. Because not all the information about the Ceylon covered bridge is historic, often found on lists of haunted places in Indiana. One story tells of a grim event happening there. Lore states that a group of teenagers performed a seance on the bridge many years ago. We talked about this. And during the seance, a body supposedly fell through the roof, leaving a large blood stain on the floorboards by the pentagram, which was obviously drawn for the seance, Steve.
Sure.
Perhaps this is why it needed restoration.
Oh, well, yeah, probably would lead to that.
Oh, man, I cannot... I think we need to include this, so it's a little bit out of the way for us.
Okay, so hit it on the way back.
I think we hit it on the way back. Everybody's welcome to join us. We'll recreate the seance there, draw a big old pentagram, we'll stop traffic.
Wait for a body to fall.
And wait for the body to hit the floor.
All right, that's coming up, so keep an eye out on social media. We might have another World Tour t-shirt, and if we do, it'll be great to see wear it.
Yeah, it really would, and it'll be... in my mind, the exact same design.
How many Sharpies are you bringing? For all the autographs we're going to be signing.
I think we need to buy the multicolor pack.
Oh yeah, I've always wanted a reason to buy one of them.
Right, so we need
Every time I go through the checkout line, I'm like,
yeah,
should I buy that?
Because what if somebody's wearing a black shirt?
Yeah, it's true.
You got to have a silver Sharpie, Steve. So we need to buy colored Sharpies and really do those hand workouts. the day before and morning of
get
to
one
make
of those,
sure we're stretched out.
Get one of those squeezer spring thingies.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I can't. I'm excited. I'm just nervous. That's all I'm saying, because I know my life and I know I'm a disappointment, and so I'm just assuming I'm the disappointment to anybody who travels to see our dumb faces on a large billboard.
So that comes up April 6th. That is the big news for April.
Yeah.
But the big news for March.
Oh, ho, ho. Woo!
Here we go.
It's back, baby.
You thought we forgot about this song. No, we didn't. Not a chance. Again, the obvious Eminem ripoff.
Huh? Original beat.
If you wanna be the best, you got to be a fighter. If you wanna be
Yes,
the best,
the official song of the Steve & Kyle podcast, Throaty 2. There's a 32 throat noises from the last one calendar year. Now, we had to eliminate quite a few.
The committee was busy this week, Steve, as everybody knows. The big hubbub regarding March Madness, and in this regard, the Throaty 2, the National Throat Goblin Championship. It's tough behind the scenes. You've got to make cuts that you don't want to make. So when you have, like we did this year, 46 deserving teams for this tournament, you have to make some.
Tough decisions.
Yeah, and so
unpopular decisions.
So there were some arguments.
A lot of parents writing and complaining about their child whose team didn't make the cut. Sorry.
Yep. There were some silent lunches after some very angry arguments regarding, whether these teams should be in the tournament or not, before finally the bracket was settled on, Steve, on Saturday night.
Yes.
The bracket was settled on, and it will be distributed to you all. By the time you're listening to this, check it out, steveandkyle.com, facebook.com/steveandkyle, Twitter @SteveandKyle, also Instagram @SteveandKyle.
Oh, yeah, we'll post it all there, too.
Here's what we ask, and this happened last year. Print a mountain. Don't use your own paper. Go to the workplace. Print at least 40 of these and leave them in the work break room. Hang them from your cubicle. Hang them from your coworkers' cubicles. And fill out, we need to see your final brackets for the Throaty 2, the year 2019. We have doubled the field this year. The entrants last year were very upset that it was so limited.
Yeah, last year it was just the Steve 16. Now it's the Throaty 2.
So this week right here, Steve, is the very first week of the tournament, and it is the Throaty 2. All Throaty 2 in action this week, which means you'll need to vote on your winners for this first round, and the next week will be the Steve 16, and so on and so forth. So we'll need you to just keep track of our social media, @SteveandKyle on Twitter, like we said, facebook.com/SteveandKyle. Instructions there, poll to pick your winners on the polls. Very easy to follow along with. Just find us there. Keep your eyes peeled on all of our social media avenues for all of these matchups.
Yeah, fill out your bracket, take a picture of it, post it, #Throaty2.
Yep. Please
on
do
all
that.
Social media. So we're gonna quickly run through all of the matchups, and then again, just go to facebook.com/SteveandKyle, or @SteveandKyle on Twitter, @SteveandKyle on Instagram. It'll give you all the instructions there on how to place your votes. Are you ready?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, Steve, while we're talking there, I got to open my own bracket here very quickly so I can follow along. This is. I haven't filled mine out yet because I'm nervous. You know, it's tough. So
I feel like there's going to be some upsets. Definitely some upsets.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to rehearing this bracket.
All right. So you just want to run through them real quick then?
Yeah, I think let's hit them. We again, this is 4 regions. We didn't name the regions.
No,
that's what. Oh well.
We can always do that. We can still do that. All right. So here's I guess the number 1 seed, Pharynx Polytechnic. Oh, boy. Versus the number 8 seed, a newcomer to the tournament, Windpipe Wartime Memorial School. Oh, boy.
Oh.
That's a solid matchup right there. Number 4 seed, Snot Bubble State University. Returning to the tournament against number 5 seed. This is another newcomer, Soft Palate Performing Arts University.
Ooh. First year having a team for Soft Palate Performing Arts University, Steve.
That's a 5 seed, really? All right, another one back from last year, Mucus University. Okay. Versus the number 6 seed, Fat Tongue Tech. That's That's quite a name. I hadn't heard of the Fat Tongue Tech.
Listen, we don't,
squad.
we're not like the NCAA where we're making people, pay to play, Steve. We welcome all competitors here for the Throaty 2, and we look forward to new schools entering the fray every year.
The number 2 seed Corpus Automotive Education Center. What? Corpus Automotive Education Center?
Yeah.
Versus the I believe that Dumbmouth Community College went pretty far last year in the tournament.
I believe they made it to the Phlegm 4.
Oh boy. What? Hold on, I need to hear that one more time. That was Dumbmouth Community College, again, the number 7 seed. What? How is that a 7?
Oh, real quick hitter, and again, the committee, in much debate, these returning teams, a lot of them losing a lot of talent last year, including, you don't make the Phlegm 4 and expect to return that entire roster. A lot of them move on to the professionals.
Okay, number 1 seed Cardia Center of Medicine. Wow. Versus the number 8 seed, the returning maybe champion, I don't know, Tonsil Tech. Whoa, how is that an 8 seed?
That is a grumbler.
What the hell was the committee thinking?
Well, Steve, it's a lot of the debates that happen this time of year regard, the Power 5 conferences and the mid-major conferences, and Tonsil Tech coming from a mid-major conference. How do you value their strength of schedule this year? Apparently the committee did not have a lot of faith in it. They sneak in as an 8 seed.
Yeah, I was going to say the same exact thing. Who was that? Tonsil Tech?
That was Tonsil Tech.
Okay, this is number 4 seed Vocal Cord Valley, back from last year, versus the number 5 seed Loud Stomach State. Okay.
I mean, listen, you can get accredited at almost any university now. So, Loud Stomach State is, a fine university in the foothills of Tennessee.
Yeah, of course.
And, I'm glad they're in the tournament this year.
The number 3 seed, Antrim Secondary School. That was a long, grumbly one.
A lot of length on that team. A lot of length that you hope can end up, anytime the other team has to go small on their guard play, Steve, you hope the length can stop them, even though they're going to give up some quickness.
Sure. Yeah, that was Antrim Secondary School versus the number 6 seed Uvula State Technical University. Now, again, in case we weren't clear, these are all noises that came from my insides while we were recording this podcast.
There's a chance, after getting a little bump from your side gig this week, that there's people listening to this to give it a try.
Yeah, who've never heard anything like this.
So, yeah, over the past year, we did this last year as well, Steve's body continues to betray him as he enters his late 30s and sniffs 40. Mm-hmm. So, on an almost regular basis, your stomach or your throat will betray you to the point where it's audible on the microphone. Mm-hmm. Now, you and I can usually hear it in real time, and when I go back and give it a little boost when I'm listening back, these are unaltered outside of simply amplifying them.
Yeah.
Sounds that have come from your body, and what I'm not going to announce, Steve, is what universities Kyle's body has joined this year.
So
I have written down the 3 universities that I have made into this tournament. So I know I'm the most hated, so I don't want to. I don't want to.
You don't want people voting.
Voting.
Yeah, you don't want that to sway the decision.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go on to a number 2 seed. Now this is the final matchup for the western side of the bracket.
Yeah, the left ventricle.
The number 2. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. The number 2 seed University of Jowl versus the number 7 seed Craw Academy. Oh boy. I cannot believe that these are human-made noises.
Again, we've heard the montage of these, Steve, which we'll play that maybe after this all gets done, that I sent back in the early summer when we were about halfway through the season for throat noises this year. And you would think it came from the movie Alien with Sigourney Weaver in the 1970s. I don't understand how this comes from a human body, and the fact that it's not another person making those noises from your body.
I know. All right, so let's move on to the right ventricle now. The number 1 seed Phlegm A&M. Oh, sorry, I kind of stepped all over that one. Number 1 seed Phlegm A&M. Oh, it's a good one.
That's really
just
nice.
a solid one versus the number 8 seed Snot State. Not to be confused with Snot Bubble State University.
Right, which was a Phlegm 4 matchup 1 year ago, Steve. I want to say Snot Bubble State University came out on top. They returned a lot of talent coming back as the number 4 seed this year. Snot State, quite a bit of turnover, sneaking into the tournament as one of the last 4 as an 8 seed.
So we'll move on now to the number, I believe it's the number 4.
Yeah, the number 4 seed.
Oh, yeah, the
Steve.
number 4 seed, University of Belly. Okay, University of Belly versus the number 5 seed Trachea School of Fine Arts. Welcome back, Trachea School of Fine Arts.
And boy, does that an appearance. Now, if I had to pick my Cinderella story early on, Steve, I'm going with the number 5 seed Trachea School of Fine Arts.
Really?
A lot of, very clear, audible girth and that throat noise right there. I think they're primed for an upset, maybe all the way to the Phlegm 4.
Number 3 seed Busted Larynx A&M versus the number 6 seed Intestinal Rumble Art School. Oh boy, Intestinal Rumble, known as Iris for short, of course. First time in the tournament this year. Also a first time in the tournament, number 2 seed Gut State.
Sorry, I'm just not remembering, all of these new entries into the tournament this year, Steve. And they're tickling me so.
Yeah. Versus the number 7 seed, nearly a Cinderella story 1 year ago, Acid Reflux Correspondence School. Rarely do you get a correspondence school to go so far in the tournament, but
and again we refuse to. We refuse to judge against anybody. We welcome all entrants into this tournament as long as you pay.
Now, do you remember, talk about the Cinderella story of Acid Reflux Correspondence School last year and the feeling that you had when you saw that they were making it as far as they were?
A real dream run, Steve, because you never anticipate the way these votes are going to go. So when these matchups start, and next thing you know, you see a number 4 seed in Acid Reflux Correspondence School actually start to make those runs. And, anytime you see a first-round upset, you can write it off as a fluke. Because those happen. Those happen to the best teams. Last year in the basketball tournament, we saw number 16 beat a 1 for the first time ever. But a number 4 upsetting a 1 in the Steve 16 a year ago was a bit of a surprise. Mm-hmm. But then when you see that number 4 advance from the 16 to the 8 down to the Phlegm 4,
ridiculous.
You know that they were simply underseeded, and the Cinderella story is real. The slipper fits until midnight finally comes, and they lose in the Phlegm 4. But a heck of a run last year, really establishing themselves as a player for years to come. Acid Reflux Correspondence School, not to be overlooked, even as a number 7 seed again this year.
Now, I believe that this school, the number 1 seed, I believe they were with us last year. This is Gullet Institute.
Yes.
Versus the number 8 seed, Stomach Acid University. Boy, when that's a 1 and 8, this is a good tournament.
Yeah,
this is an excellent tournament.
The field was deep this year. Again, the cuts were not easy to make. Friendships were marred, and I think things are forever altered for the Throat Goblin Championship.
Now, for the first time, a broadcasting school has made the tournament. The number 4 seed Gastric School of Broadcasting.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. It just gives us a reason to play it again. Number 4 seed Gastric School of Broadcasting. Whew, boy,
man,
that is great. Versus the number 5 seed Esophagus Episcopalian, back for another run.
Another entry from the Phlegm 4 last year, returning this year as a mid-seed, a number 5 seed there, Steve. Again, not to be overlooked. A lot to be said for experience coming back to these tournaments.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes the bright lights shine a little brighter than a lot of these universities anticipate.
Yeah.
So do not overlook the experience of another Phlegm 4 participant from 1 year ago, Esophagus Episcopalian U. I believe they made it all the way to the Throat Goblin National Championship game last year, maybe even won. Feels like information we should have had beforehand.
That's a huge prediction right there. Now, the number 3 seed Fat Lip Tech. Whoa!
Let the wild boar into the tournament.
Versus the number 6 seed Hogmaw Academy.
That should have been.
That's a matchup right there.
Play Fat Lip Tech one more time. That sounds like a pig.
Oh, it's a pig, all right. It's a pig, all right.
That is an oink if I have ever heard one from a massive pig in its pig pen, but it didn't, because I'm looking at who it came from and I don't understand it.
All right, let's also play again the number 6 seed Hogmaw Academy. Boy, that's a phenomenal matchup right there.
Don't overlook the 3 versus 6s. Now, seeding means a whole lot in terms of getting the easier matchup. But again, we've talked about the mid-majors coming into this tournament. We've talked about first time versus return. These are two brand new, or no, I'm sorry. This is a returning team against a newcomer. The newcomer higher seeded, and as you heard it here, I think sounds exactly like a wild boar. Again, I mentioned my Cinderella story. I really think the returning Trachea School of Fine Arts. If you want to ask me my Cinderella newcomer, Steve, I'm looking at the number 3 seed Fat Lip Tech to make a real run in this tournament. That's a tough corner of the bracket there on the right ventricle. You really, Gullet Institute.
We still have one matchup left.
Oh, there's no question.
Yeah.
That this is going to be a tough run, but I really like the newcomer, Fat Lip Tech.
All right. Well, before we do our full breakdown, we'll our last matchup in the first round on the right ventricle over Salivation Coastal State, the number 2 seed, versus the number 7 seed Epiglottis Trade School. Just generic trade school.
Yep.
They don't specify which trades.
No, they handle all the trades there, Steve. We have a couple other trade schools in our tournament this year, as we've mentioned. The Corpus Automotive Education Center, they're joining us as well. The Gullet Institute, also a trade school. Uvula State Technical University. Antrim Secondary School, also a trade school, but for the rejects from high school who couldn't finish traditional.
Okay, so I've pulled up the Steve 16 from last year so we can see exactly how the tournament played out, and boy, we forgot to fill in the winner. That sounds about right.
I am almost 100% positive it was Esophagus Episcopalian University, the champion from 1 year ago.
How the hell did we do that?
On the inaugural Steve 16, the Throat Goblin National Championship.
Now,
Esophagus Episcopalian returning as a number 5 seed this year.
Now, the divisions will remain the same. We have the gut division, the throat division, the stomach division, and the bowel division.
Yeah.
The gut and the throat representing the left ventricle.
Yes.
The stomach and the bowel representing the right ventricle.
Absolutely.
So, again, this is all at Facebook.com/Stephen Kyle, or on Twitter at Stephen Kyle, or on Instagram at Stephen Kyle.
Sure.
That is your 2019 Throaty 2. Yes. Oh, boy. Are you as excited as I am?
I am pumped. The work that goes into this, not daunting, but never pleasant, Steve. As we talked about, you have to make cuts. Teams that you have to tell, hey, you didn't make it this year. But when you hear the final product and you know that the public is about to be able to weigh in on the year's most important polls, it makes it all worth it.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's no doubt an exciting time of year for 32 teams that are just looking to make their mark on the lungs of America.
Now, you just listened to the whole bracket as well, Steve. You heard a lot of my insight. Who do you have? Who do you think is your favorite? And who do you have as your Cinderella team coming into the bracket this year?
Well, I think that you'd be crazy not to count the number 7 seed Acid Reflux Correspondence School out of it. I mean, Gut State, they're a first year team in the tournament.
Yeah.
They don't have the experience that ARCS does. ARCs, as we call them here in the discussion den.
Certainly.
So we're breaking down the matchups.
There's committee rooms and there's meeting rooms and conference rooms. It's like we're on the Reading Rainbow. We have the discussion den.
That's a new podcast right there. Right. The discussion den.
And it's just you and I sitting crisscross applesauce and facing each other.
Having intense discussions. Oh, my God.
Fantastic, yeah. Well, listen, they're a number 7 seed, but like you said, senior guard play and returning roster is a big part of the tournament that a lot of people sometimes overlook in the tournament time, and the senior guard play is the most important aspect in my opinion. And you're right,
Yeah.
ARCS. Arcs. Obviously, they have that. So you're looking at an upset, a number 7 of the number 2 gut state.
Yeah, it's that. I mean, that right ventricle is just. I mean, I know that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seeds, but personally, I think they're all 1, 2, and 3 seeds. It's just it is so tight,
loaded with talent there in the right ventricle this year, and sometimes that happens. You try to make it work so teams don't have to travel very far. It's a bit of a mismatched bracket, but the right ventricle loaded with talent. But hey,
that's
nothing to discount.
How it goes. That's how it goes.
Yep, nothing to discount the left ventricle. But I agree with you. The majority of the talent there on the right side.
Oh boy, it's again an exciting time of year. So please cast your votes now, and we look forward to declaring a winner in just a couple of weeks' time.
Boy, yeah, as we're doubling the field this year, so next week we'll have all the matchups for the Steve 16, and then we'll go down to obviously the last 8, and the Phlegm 4, which there is a name for the 8, I just forget what it is. The Phlegm 4.
Oh, it was the What I Ate.
The What I Ate, that's right. The What I Ate, followed by the Phlegm 4, followed by the National Throat Goblin Championship, so we should have this wrapped up sometime in September.
Yeah. Because it's going to be a week for each, right? So it's going to be mid-April, late April, by the time we finally declare.
Yeah, just 3 short weeks after everybody else, after the actual basketball championship is done. So this voting will run until Sunday, March 31st. We'll kick off the next portion of the bracket the following week. That will close on
Or do we not have it go a full week? Like maybe we only have it go 3 or 4 days, and then so when we report back, we'll have like a couple of rounds to update everybody on. Yeah,
we would just have to then pose the new matchups for everybody during the off week.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Just StephenKyle.com for everything, or Facebook.com/StephenKyle, or on Twitter or Instagram @StephenKyle.
Yeah, follow it there, vote there, find all the directions there.
We'll figure it out.
To vote on all of these matchups and listen to them again. There should be a link to listen to all those matchups again for you in the show description.
Yeah. What do we got to get to now? Do we?
Well, we did skip somebody last week for 2 minutes of awkward conversation. I don't even have a clue if they would be available today, so I would recommend that's not a great idea.
Do you want to just jump into the Fast Five then? Or?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, we will do that then. It is time for the Fast Five.
Fast Five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The NCAA's first weekend, Steve.
Oh, boy.
The round of 64, the round of 32. What are your thoughts? Real quick, rapid fire.
Well, I mean, you got Duke, of course, and then there's Virginia.
The Mueller report.
Boy, lots going to change. Things are happening now.
Supposedly, there should be a report given to Congress by the time everybody's hearing this.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that, I mean, I'd be shocked if impeachment proceedings hadn't already begun by the time you're listening to this.
Boy, Steve, you don't seem to have a lot of faith in the way this thing's going to go. Tom Izzo. I don't know if you saw these clips or saw the uproar.
I saw something about Tom Izzo. The guy, he's the one who talks like this, right?
Always has a raspy voice, and that is because of his yelling. Yells a lot.
Mm-hmm.
People, players, assuming his wife. Mm-hmm. No reason to assume that. But we'll get to the controversy surrounding him on the turnaround. Jordan Peele's Us.
I've heard that because that's the horror movie from him, right?
The horror movie is follow-up to wildly successful Get Out, released this weekend.
So there's no doubt at least one bat, a mask of some kind on someone, and something, maybe numerous things that go bump in the night.
I mean, I know there's a mask. I know things are going bump in the night. I will be seeing this movie. I'll report back to you
on the bat status,
on the bat situation. Okay. Because if there's a bat, I think I have to leave.
And apologize to me.
I owe you an apology because you've nailed the formula. And lastly, Ichiro Suzuki.
Oh, he's retiring, right? Or he did retire?
Yeah.
45 years old?
kind of crazy, right? I mean, this is a guy who played in Japan for 8 to 10 years and was good. Came to the major leagues, and if he had been playing,
dominated.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
If he'd been playing in the major leagues from a young age, there's no question he would have passed Pete Rose, I think, in terms of all-time hits in Major League Baseball. Still got over 3,000 hits in his MLB career. Known for the slap hit, where it always seemed like he was halfway out of the batter's box when the bat was touching the ball, which allowed him to just hit a billion singles.
Yeah.
And in that regard...
Because he was already like halfway to first by the time he actually hit it.
And in that regard, I've never identified with a baseball player more than Ichiro Suzuki. But no, he was really the start of the wave of overseas and Japanese players coming to Major League Baseball and made it, if he bombs, I don't know if Major League Baseball takes as many chances on Japanese players as they have.
Yeah.
And so in that regard...
How many years did he play in Major League Baseball?
I want to say it was like 13 years.
Wow.
In the major leagues. Got here in the early 2000s in Seattle. Ended up making his way around late in his career, as a lot of athletes do. But an incredible career. 28 seasons combined, Steve, between Japanese and Major League Baseball, as I'm looking insane. Right now. His career, he finished with... Boy, oh boy, that is a lot of hits. And again, I'm telling you, if Pete Rose...
So this is combined then?
No, this is just his MLB career.
But what would he have combined?
Good question. MLB career.
That sucks that he doesn't get credit for, because that was at a professional level.
Oh, sure. I mean, as baseball fans, right? Like, they understand. Mm-hmm. But for the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, you can say, and I'm sure on his plaque it will say, hey, had this many... overseas hits to give him a combined however much. But yeah, finished with over 3,089 hits in his 18-year career, Steve. Played 3 years in Miami. Up until age 43, he still played 136 games.
Jeez.
Played 15 games back in Seattle last year. Won batting title, batted 370 plus. He was the guy they were talking about. If somebody would ever hit 400 again, it would be Ichiro Suzuki. And, finishing an absolutely amazing career, age 45. So Ichiro finally hanging him up, hopefully for a career still in baseball.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Before that, Jordan Peele's Us, the follow-up to Get Out, which was incredibly well received. Did you ever see Get Out?
I did not.
Tremendous.
Bats.
Right?
Bats everywhere.
Just loaded with bats. But this is his follow-up, Us, and... massively critically successful and financially absolutely a blockbuster this weekend. A March horror movie, rated R, pulling in over $60 million.
Jeez. I haven't seen a movie in a long time.
You haven't been?
No, I gotta go back. I don't think I've seen a movie in the theater since we saw A Star Is Born.
Really? And that was October. That was before Reed was born.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
That was what brought on this rapid hair growth.
That's true.
I mean,
we decided in October.
I saw that movie, and I said, I need to salute this man.
Certainly, because how could you look at him and not want to salute him? To circle back a little bit, Ichiro, I don't know his total numbers. He passed Pete Rose in 2016 for most hits ever, 4,257. So 1,278 came in Japan. And if he finished with over 3,000 hits in Major League, obviously he's over 4,200. So, outstanding.
That's
outstanding
insane.
And crazy to think back about. I mean, that's a guy. I mean, he didn't do it with home runs and stuff, so he's never going to be regarded in that same light. But still tremendous. Before that, Tom Izzo made news this weekend during their opening round matchup against number 15 seed Bradley. Was caught on camera really yelling at one of his players. And some of his players, seeing him get so upset that they, would, grab him by the shoulders and try to sit him down and calm him down, sparked a bit of an uproar among media outlets and the sort about his actions and if that's okay and how he's coaching. And some people going as far as to compare it to Bobby Knight.
Ooh. Did he throw a chair at anyone?
No, and he didn't choke anybody either, which I believe is, one is assault, one is, coaching that you may not like, right? The conversation should have been ended as soon as the player himself said, no, that's fine. The way he did it was fine. But brings up a lot of the questions about the power dynamic. Obviously, one an unpaid athlete, one a massively paid
because of course that player's going to say, no, it's fine. Because if he doesn't, I mean, if he complains about his coach,
sure,
he's not going to play anymore.
It seems like there's always been, though, two schools of coaching, right?
Yeah.
You always have, what will happen when anybody fires a coach or a coach retires is they'll go to the polar opposite. So, well, hey, this guy didn't work or it stopped working, so we need to flip the opposite. So you have either soft-spoken guy who lets the players run the locker room, or you have something like this where he commands the respect and needs everything done right, and he's going to get in your face when it's not. I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way. It's
whatever works, I guess. Whatever the players react to.
Yeah, and I guess it's where do you draw a line, right? I mean, him yelling at a player when he comes off the court, is that okay?
It's kind of, I think so.
Right. And
I mean, if he was not doing what the coach told him to do, like that's why you're there. You know, you're there to.
Bobby Knight, if he was coaching today, he'd be in jail, right?
Yeah.
Compared to what 20 years ago, he was doing these things. The chair throwing, forget even about that. He was known for, really being a bad person. And he was, the big deal was he was choking his players. And that, even that took a way too long, investigation to end up getting him fired.
Yeah.
Nowadays, that's instantaneous.
Right.
I don't think,
just the rumor of it.
Right. And obviously, it's a different time than it was in the 90s, and especially in terms of the way you have to act. But, boy, it's different out there. That's not a profession or career I'd want to be a part of.
I mean, that's why I didn't play at the college level,
Everybody has to make their choices, Steve.
I just didn't want to deal with it. I didn't need somebody up in my face like that.
Well, that, and they wouldn't let roller blades into the roller derby.
Yes, I was going to do collegiate roller derby until I found out I had to wear quads, not blades.
Could we is there a roller derby around here you and I could take part in for a night?
I guarantee there's a roller derby. I know that there's there's a women's roller derby league.
So you want us to go skate with the women and throw?
They're called like the dirty girls.
Yeah.
Derby girls or something.
So you want us to go throw bows?
Yeah,
with some roller skating women. And I'm not saying that like I'm going to hurt women. No, they're going to injure me because they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to do that now. I want to do, even if it's at a practice or something, I want you and I to get out there on some skates on that track and go ripping around.
You want to do the quads? Or
would they let us wear blades?
I don't know.
I can't
think
imagine
they might laugh us off the track.
Whoa!
Course?
Is this the ski boarding or the skiing and snowboarding debate where there, it's always a rivalry? Right. Like you and I show up with a couple of blades, and like all of a sudden there's just a bunch of whispering to each other.
That is the Grand Raggedy Roller Derby.
Katie
looks as though that is definitely all women.
Katie has an in with that. I believe Katie knows someone who's on that team.
Grand Raggedy Roller Derby is a women's flat track roller derby league based in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
I only do the
bank turns.
Bank turns, yeah. So, how else are you going to contain my speed?
Founded in 2005, the league is a founding member of the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. All right.
What's it take for you and I to get over there? And at least for a practice, you and I will throw on some shoulder pads, a helmet. We'll go out there and carry a rugby ball over the line or something, and how it works?
I don't think so.
Now, is that Rollerball, the movie with LL Cool J that I'm thinking of?
No, it's Murder Ball.
Oh, the wheelchair one.
Right, yes.
That's what it turns into for us.
Let's see. So we have, the latest score. You want to hear the latest scores?
Yeah, I don't know how to score, but I definitely want to hear the scores.
The All-Stars had 38. Team Michigan had 324. Don't know. Our high score is better or low score?
38 to 324.
Yeah, and then the Attack 100, and the team from Fort Wayne 223.
Oh, someone got killed.
Yeah. Boy, this is sure is.
I want to do it. I want to get out on the track.
I'd at least go and watch a game.
Well, we need to do it. Yeah, we need to head to the derb.
The header photo, we'd be the two. I mean, let's be honest. There aren't a lot of people going to watch roller derby. I don't think that comes as a surprise to anyone on the teams.
Oh, man. That's hurtful.
Join us. Join us. Does that mean like for a game or like join the team? Oh no, that's to join the wow. If you want to join the team,
goodness, Steve.
you can just basically click on the.
Oh, you just join it?
Yeah, you have to give them a copy of your driver's license, sign a waiver, and bring a water bottle.
Recruiting skaters, officials, volunteers, and sponsors.
Oh, do we sponsor a team?
Yeah,
How much?
Grand Rapids, Steve and Kyle's. I don't. That's the only thing I will
Sponsors.
expect.
Hold on.
Now, the 2019 season kicked off yesterday, Steve. This is perfect timing. You send them a message, ask for their sponsorship sheet. I don't know, do something professional. Figure out what they call that so we can get a list of rates so we can sponsor a roller derby
All
team.
right. Well, they list their reach here. How would you like to reach? Over 1,300 Instagram followers. That's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Over 4,500 Twitter followers. Mm-hmm. Over 8,000 Facebook followers.
Certainly.
But the one I'm interested in is how many people is our logo getting in front of
That's what I care about.
at a game?
Yep.
Over 1,500 spectators per year.
Suck it, Twitter. Suck it, Instagram.
I seriously will fill this out.
Yes.
And find out how much.
Yeah, no, I'm in. We've got a little a little slush
I want to
fund
sponsor
going.
a team. I want to do a win one for the Gipper type speech before the big.
Oh, I demand a speech. Like you and I I want 8 minutes, and we can split it however we want. And we're giving a speech to these ladies before they go out there.
It's gonna be a Herb Brooks speech. Like you lose this one, you take it to your effing graves. Then I'll turn around, start to walk out the door. Then I'll turn around and come back to your effing graves.
And you kick the door, like you really push the door,
Yeah.
and walk out, and you never turn around.
Yeah.
And then I come in as the good cop.
We would get so destroyed by these women.
That's part of the deal. We'll pitch in for sponsorship, but you and I get to at least join a practice.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
They do have they have some nice looking merch though.
But you and I, a couple of bike shorts.
Oops.
You
Look
know?
at that. I would totally wear that hoodie.
Oh, our merch sucks.
That's a great logo.
Damn it, Philip. Our merch sucks.
It's Philip's fault.
No, we're going to reach out. We're going to do this. I want to sponsor these ladies, and I want to give a speech, and I want to take part in one practice. You and I, 2 pairs of bike shorts, spandex tank tops,
I would love it.
helmets, and mouth guards, and we're going to get out there and see what this is all about.
Dude, this is happening.
Oh, there's no question.
I'll make this our next GoFundMe.
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah, we'll start this, even though we haven't fulfilled the last GoFundMe.
Oh, it's fulfilled.
It starts now.
That billboard goes up in 8 days.
Maybe they have a novelty night where we can get on the track.
I think track.
With the team?
because it's flat track.
Can we guest coach? We can bring some people in. Hey, you want to watch Steve and Kyle guest coach the Grand Raggedy Roller Derby?
See, I don't know if they want us
Oh, Steve.
to make their game like a gimmick.
Oh, Steve, my good man. They need us.
Okay. All right. I am putting out the...
Good. We're going to type up that email the
I'm
second we're done here.
I am seriously sending that.
And we're
because-
sponsoring. And list my demands in order.
Well, why don't we just ask for a list of rates first? Maybe try to not start this off on the
I
wrong
don't
foot.
know why your sponsorship tactics are okay, where you demanded 3,000%, 2 years guaranteed, and a security deposit to get on our podcast.
Maybe I've learned from the error of my ways.
You mean no sponsors?
No sponsors. So I'm turning over a new leaf.
Yeah.
I'm taking the soft and tender approach.
Oh, boy.
Where were we? What were we talking about?
Tom Izzo.
Tom Izzo to rollerblading.
Uh-huh.
Don't even want to try to connect the dots. Next.
Basketballs on the hardwood, and they were thinking of the rink track, whatever it's called. The Mueller report.
Mueller report, like I said, it's crazy what is about to happen.
Yeah,
Unprecedented.
It's finally happening.
Yeah.
Something, right?
I mean,
It's crazy how jaded, it
Yeah.
used to be if there was a, stroke of a pen in this thing a year ago is, ho, 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 some dominoes are falling.
Yeah.
But now it's, I don't care.
Yeah.
Let me know when somebody is in court, or let me know when I can read it, or better yet, read somebody's Cliff Notes version of it.
Yeah.
That's all I really care about now.
Yep.
And lastly, Steve, most importantly this weekend, the first weekend of the NCAA tournament, a total of 64 games over 4 days, nonstop basketball, wall to wall, from 12 p.m. noon to after 1 a.m.
Did I fill out my bracket correctly?
I didn't look.
Because you sent me a text saying, fill out your bracket. I had filled it out like 2 days earlier.
Sure.
Turned out I did have a Yahoo email address.
How about that?
So, all filled out. So, if you could pull up that poll, let me know how I'm doing.
Yeah, let me just make sure you're in.
I filled out 3 brackets this year.
Did you really?
3. And I'm pretty sure I put the same picks for every one of them.
All right, let me go to the bottom. I'll start bottom up. Now, if I remember right, is 64 teams really necessary was your team name?
It did seem excessive.
You are tied for 26th, Steve.
With out of how many people?
44.
Hey, middle of the pack, right?
And that is, somehow you're tied with me, even though I have 30 points. I don't know how that works. But, your total picks correct. You have 34 picks correct. I have 34 picks correct. I just have more points than you. Yeah, the winner right now, Wayne.
Look at that.
Coco Nerd can't win this bracket. The name of his bracket, he has 35 points, or 43 points.
Nice.
Right now. Brian in second place. Big Boy Vroom Vroom. Our friend Scott, who we played slow pitch softball with. Big Beard throws too hard. He's in third. Somebody who must just dislike me, named Joe. The Steve Podcast 2020, also tied for third. Team Covered Bridge, also tied for third. So you'll understand why I did not want to give what tournament teams in the Throat Goblin tournament were mine.
Sure.
As those would probably be voted down unanimously.
All right.
But yeah, oh man, the upsets. First of all, let's talk about the Anteaters over Kansas State. The Anteaters of came out, upset Kansas State, the number 4 seed. You had the traditional, the 12 over the 5 seed upsets happened 3 times this tournament already, all over the Liberty Flames, Steve, this year. All over Murray State. I tried to warn everybody about my racers. The Murray State racer, the Ja Moran, a top 3 draft pick, dunking his way off draft boards now. For the NBA, he will be gone. But the Murray State race is nobody to sleep on until they lost by 30 points to Florida State. The Big Ten.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3,
Boy,
2,
did I let that go on way too long because I was typing an email to the roller derby folks.
The Big Ten and the SEC alone are combined 15 and 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Did that just happen? Okay, number 1 on the list, March Madness.
Oh my God, nothing better than
number
the
2
week.
on the list, Spring. It's here.
Yeah, give me winter.
Really?
Oh, we talked about this. Yeah.
Wait, you like winter more than spring? We've talked about this?
And you agreed with me. It was 2 weeks ago.
Why did I not like spring?
Because spring
everything's
makes everybody's eyes water,
and it's a muddy mess.
Muddy.
Yeah, I don't care about
wet.
the allergies because they don't affect me, and I typically don't care about things that don't affect me at all.
Certainly.
But the prospects of knowing that summer is on the way, spring. If you look at spring isolated, you know something. We'll get this on the turnaround. This is
true. That's
okay. Now, being third thing, number 3, being that you are a big movie guy, I'm sure that you're super excited.
Yeah.
About Bill and Ted coming back for a third movie, 20-some years later. Keanu Reeves and the other guy.
Snooze.
Whoa, really?
Not a Bill and Ted guy.
Okay.
Next, I don't think that's gonna play well.
Probably not. Next, Marie Kondo. Are you familiar with her?
Yeah. Dumb.
Yeah.
Really dumb.
I have a breakdown of a couple of episodes. I watched a couple just to see what all the hype was about.
Yeah.
Talk about that on the turnaround.
You know what? I'll keep as many books as I want. Thank you.
Well, as long as they spark joy.
Yeah, I'm gonna spark joy in something. It's my fist near her. I shouldn't threaten to hit a woman, but
No.
but it makes me mad.
Especially
that,
a very tiny, like, not saying that if you threaten to hit a bigger woman,
but
it would be.
to tell me that the only way you can be happy is if you have happy books. At like a week after I tweeted a picture of me reading a book titled Columbine. Like, I'm sorry I'm not reading, happy romance novels nonstop, but not everything is to bring me joy. If it's bringing me information or something I desire, Marie Kondo is an idiot.
Okay, and finally, Zion Williamson.
Yeah, first, I think CBS had a Zion cam for their first round game where one camera followed him around the entire time. Hasn't been a fervor like this around a college athlete, and he wasn't even college, sorry, but a young athlete since probably LeBron.
So is he going to go to the NBA?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he'll be the consensus number one pick.
He didn't declare. Did he?
You can't declare yet, but there's zero chance he comes back to Duke for another year, especially after the sneaker debacle. Where
Do you think that played a part in it? Like,
it should.
If the sneaker didn't blow up and everything was fine for the last couple of weeks, do you think he comes back?
No. And it's Duke, where that's kind of expected. You have more one and done players at Duke and Kentucky than anywhere else.
He's got what, a probably $50 million contract waiting for him.
Oh, easily, yeah. He'll be the number one pick to whoever gets it. Probably the New York Knicks. He'll get a shoe deal worth 8 figures as well, easily. And he's careers are never guaranteed. So why risk that for any longer, especially after having a scare like he did when his shoe blew out? Why risk that any longer than you absolutely have to? Go cash in. Nobody can be mad at you for cashing in, and if they are, they're being selfish. So, he should leave. He will leave. He'll be the number one pick. Honestly, the 3 star players from Duke will probably all be gone in the top 6 to 10 picks. That's how good they are this year.
Bummer for Coach K. Before that, we had Marie Kondo. Now, I kept hearing all the hubbub about Marie Kondo over the last couple months. She's the organization queen. She's got a TV show.
Yeah.
Shows you how to, teaches you all these tricks and tips on how to get organized, declutter your life. So Annette watched an episode or two a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to watch this. I want to see what the buzz is about.
She started throwing things away on you, and you had to see what was going on.
She did reorganize the utensil drawers.
Yeah.
It ended up being pretty.
She just throw away half your forks.
She threw away some stuff, but it was all stuff that we didn't need.
We're only using 4 forks from now on. This is it.
Oh no, I actually want to go out and buy 8 more because we have for our wedding we got the classic cutlery set.
Yeah.
So 8 spoons, 8 knives.
Not enough.
I want 16 forks.
We had to do that.
I might go back to the store and see, can I only get forks?
Yeah.
Because I just want the forks.
Yep. Where can I buy a set? I don't need 16 knives.
No.
I definitely don't need 16 more spoons.
Nope.
But the forks are key.
Yeah.
Use forks more than you think.
Yeah, we can easily go through 8 forks. I mean, that's 2 days. And we don't want to run the dishwasher. I run the dishwasher twice a week, maybe.
Yeah. Well, you've got, the Steve House dinners.
Yeah.
You've got brachol one night.
Meatloaf.
You've got spaghetti one night. You've got lasagna one night.
Yeah.
You've got calzones one night.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Rigatoni, pasta vazul.
Every night. And how many of those did you just count that use spoons? 0.
So I watched a couple of these episodes, and after 3 episodes, I said to Annette, I was like, I thought that she gave tips or actual advice on how to do stuff, because all I picked up on was she shows up to the house at the beginning, walks through. First of all, did not know that she was, is she Japanese? Chinese, maybe?
Yeah.
Because she has a translator with her. I had no idea.
So she doesn't speak English at all?
No, she does not speak English at all. So
it's already a miserable show. Then.
Everything that she says is being translated, which, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
But she doesn't really give advice. She just walks through the house and says, oh, well, throw out, if you have duplicates of anything, get rid of it. And her big thing is only keep things that spark joy. That's her catchphrase. If it sparks joy, that's what you want to keep. So if you have 5 books, or say she was going through photos, old family photos, and there was a box of 500 family photos in it. So she said, get rid of duplicates. And then if there are two that are really similar, pick the one that sparks joy and get rid of the other one. Okay, that was it. And then she'd leave. And then the family is just left there like, okay, let's do this. And they're cleaning their house for the next 3 weeks.
Oh, what a hack.
There was no advice. I thought she was going to have, all right, my system for getting rid of for figuring out which pots and pans you need are do this, 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 and this. Oh, of course. That's how did we not
get
think
rid
of
of half of this stuff? But no, instead it's
it's just this vague keep things that are happy and light and airy.
Ugh.
I'm not on board.
No, that's I mean, I know that was a big phenomenon too for a little while. And again, like I said, not everything needs to spark joy. Like, tell me how that, like, how a book I'm enjoying reading sparks joy.
I have a broom in the garage. I need that broom.
Yes.
It doesn't spark joy necessarily, but, like, sometimes I need to sweep things.
Right. A chair doesn't, a bar stool or a chair at the dining room table doesn't spark joy.
No.
But it's functional and necessary because it's a table that people sit at.
Yeah.
Dumb.
I wonder what, let's see, Marie Kondo, net worth.
Ooh.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, she's newer on the scene, I get the impression, right? So I'm going to keep it low. I'm going to go $2.5 million.
$8 million.
Come on. Now we need another podcast.
The Declutter Cast.
Ooh.
Or the Kondo Cast.
Yeah.
I feel like we may run into some issues.
We'll just rip her off. She can't speak English. What's she going to do? Catch us?
Yep, that'll stop her. Ha-ha! We speak English and you don't.
It's like the dumbest plot from the 1960s Batman show. It's ha-ha! We found it!
Okay, before that we had Bill and Ted 3.
Yeah.
It's been 25, maybe almost, not 30 years, has it?
They've been talking about this for many years now, so it's officially now it's coming out next year, actually, next summer. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's going to stand the test of time. I don't think the first ones hold up.
We had,
I think it's
Bill and Ted's Great Adventure? Bill and Ted's
Excellent Adventure?
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
And then Bill
and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Bogus Journey, yep.
Yeah.
It's this weird craving the last 3 to 5 years for nostalgia.
Yeah.
Like, just nothing but nostalgia. Like, I don't need on Netflix a show titled The 2000s. You know why? It was 9 years ago.
Yeah.
That wasn't that long ago. I don't need, like, a look back. Like, oh, man, look at those cell phones.
Yeah, just watch Dog Whisperer.
Yeah.
You'll get
Go watch Cesar blade up to the house and pull out his, razor, and you're caught up, man.
So you're not going to watch it. You're not going to go see Bill and Ted.
No, that doesn't intrigue me. I think stoner, because to me it's stoner comedy. Like, the way they would act and everything. Yeah, and that's a genre that it's been done well like twice. Cheech and Chong, and I think maybe Harold and Kumar.
What about Encino Man? Come on.
Certainly was a Brendan Fraser film.
Come on.
I can honestly say I did not anticipate...
Linkovich Chamovsky from Estonia.
I did not expect an Encino Man reference. That's right. Sean Astin digs up a frozen caveman in the middle of California beneath his pool.
Yep. Well, he was digging his own pool.
Yeah.
Digging a pool.
And there's a block of ice.
And inside is a caveman who they refer to as Link, because he's the missing link between cavemen and current day man. So they start calling him Link. But then they want to enroll him in school. So he needs a real name. So they go off of the Link theme and call him Linkovich Chamovsky.
Were the 90s the worst time for movies?
Greatest time.
Encino Man. You've got Biodome.
Oh, Biodome was fantastic.
You've got, the Steven Seagal Renaissance. I would argue it. I think the 90s were the worst decade for movies maybe ever.
Boy. Strong words.
Stand
All right, before that we had Spring.
Oh, boy, we're not done. Certainly. Fourth worst season.
Wow, 4 out of 4, huh?
4 out of 4, dead last for me. No thanks. My eyes are watering. My nose is running. There's nothing but mud outside. Everything's brownish green. But, oh, hey, what's that, sunshine? Oh. No, it's snowing. Through the sunshine, it's 37 degrees.
I'm sure that you're getting a first glimpse at the minefield that is your backyard now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
it's going to be an hour long to pick up dog feces.
I'm not going to do it. I'm going to rent this big leaf blower thing that I rented in the fall that it has like a V8 engine on the side of it and a massive blower. And I did my front and backyards in like 15 minutes, and I'm definitely doing that again because it was so strong. It was like, I don't have much grass in my yard, as you know.
Sure.
But it was blowing away the remaining grass. Can't wait to use it.
Spring is the worst.
And finally, March Madness. Oh, look at that.
Oh, man. Just under that. I mean, hey, when the clock hits, the clock strikes 1:40, the music's got to hit. That's what we've said for years on this podcast.
All right, so there's a lot going on. Go to StephenKyle.com for everything. Facebook.com/StephenKyle, at StephenKyle on Instagram and Twitter. You'll be able to vote on the Stephen Kyle Throaty 2, the 32 teams
I'm
in the
excited.
Throat Goblin tournament. So please get all of those votes in. Just follow us on social media for very, very easy instructions on how you have to go about doing that. But yeah, really simple. In the meantime, you can download, subscribe, and review the show in iTunes, the Apple Podcast app, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Libsyn, Spotify, Twitter at Stephen Kyle, Instagram at Stephen Kyle, Facebook.com/Stephen Kyle. And you can always call or text your questions, comments, or concerns. 424-30-SK-POD. That's right. 424-307-5763. I think that's about it.
Big time here, the Stephen Kyle podcast.
Oh yeah, boy. Just a week and a half until our big trip to Van Wert.
Until 6 people are going to be disappointed.
Be sure to let us know if you're going to go to that. Respond to the Facebook event. And
yeah, please do. We'd love to see as many faces there as possible.
Talk to you next week.